Welcome back to Passport to Possibility. Today we're talking about Sao Tome and Principe, a newer but fast-moving citizenship by investment program that's attracting a lot of interest in Africa and beyond. In mid-November 2025, Jennifer's Passport to Possibility newsletter released a special issue dedicated to this new program, and it generated a strong response from readers who wanted to understand how it fits into the wider citizenship by investment landscape. If you'd like to receive those kinds of updates directly, you can join the newsletter through the JH Marlin website. I'm here with Jennifer Harding-Marlin, who is already working with this program, so to explain what makes it different and who it might best suit. Let's get into it. Jennifer, for viewers hearing this name for the first time, where is Sao Tome and Principe and how did it enter the citizenship by investment landscape?
Yeah, so Sao Tome and Principe, it's an island nation off the west coast of Africa known for its cacao production, unique ecosystem, and membership to the community of Portuguese language countries. So in 2025, it launched a citizenship by investment program focused on streamlined processing and funding carefully chosen national transformation projects. Right,
so we're talking about a relatively small, strategically placed African island state that has decided to use a modern citizenship by investment framework to fund development and attract internationally minded investors. Right. In your newsletter, you described this as one of the most efficient and purpose-driven programs. What specifically sets Sao Tome and Principe apart?
Yeah, so early applicants have seen very fast processing thanks to the dedicated citizenship by investment unit, and it's structured under a public-private partnership. So the required contribution goes into the National Transformation Fund, which is dedicated to projects like infrastructure, renewable energy, and deep seaport, rather than scattered uses.
Right, so speed plus a clearly defined use of funds is the combination here. Quick decisions for applicants and a transparent development mandate for the country. For someone new to CPLP, what does Sao Tome and Principe's membership in that block matter from a citizenship perspective?
Yeah, so from a citizenship perspective, CPLP connects Portuguese-speaking countries such as Portugal and Brazil, creating frameworks for easier movement, a residency, and cooperation among members. So for citizens, that can translate into more straightforward routes to residence in Portugal, and in some cases more favorable timelines for naturalization than other foreigners enjoy.
Right, so whilst the passport has its own value, the CPLP angle adds a second layer of potential access, especially to Portugal and Brazil, for people thinking in terms of long-term strategy, not just short-term travel.
Exactly.
Let's get practical. What kinds of documents are involved for Sao Tome and Principe? And assuming someone is organised, how quickly can they realistically be ready to submit an application?
Yeah, so the core documents for Sao Tome and Principe are similar to other citizenship by investment programs. So you'll need passports, birth and marriage certificates, clean criminal record checks, proof of address, financial evidence, and you'll have to go through KYC and then complete application forms, do passport photos. So if you already have these basics up to date, then you can usually move from initial consultation to a complete submission-ready file within a matter of a couple of days to sometimes it takes a few weeks, rather than many months. So it's quite efficient, and the entire process is done online.
Right, but this isn't just sign a form process, but the documentation is familiar to anyone who has looked at serious citizenship by investment before. And if you're organised, you can move from conversation to a fully prepared file relatively quickly. So people always want to know about money. Without turning the video into a fee sheet, at a high level, at what stages are payments typically made in the Sao Tome and Principe process?
So there's usually a file opening fee, an initial stage where due diligence and application fees are paid. So the government and us as a service provider and licensed agent can process your file and submit your file. However, the main contribution to the National Transformation Fund is generally made once key approvals are in place rather than all up front, which gives applications more confidence that the processing is progressing as expected, and the price point is around US $90,000 for a single applicant or US $95,000 for a family of 4.
Right, so there's a phased approach.
Phased approach.
Some fees start the process and fund due diligence, and then the main investment when the file has reached a meaningful approval point rather than everything being committed on day one. You've now prepared and submitted files under this program. What has your experience been like on the ground, and how has your relationship with the governing authorities evolved over time?
Yeah, so far the experience has been extremely positive. There's a clear line of communication. They're very, very responsive, and I really appreciate that. And they have, we've been able to prepare files more properly and get well-prepared, properly documented applications. And as more files go through the system, there's ongoing dialogue about practical questions, which helps align expectations on both sides and refine how we prepare future applications. Right,
so this isn't an unknown black box. You're dealing with a defined, dedicated unit that is already used to your style of detailed submissions, and that ongoing relationship should benefit new applicants who come in with properly structured files. Given everything we've covered, who do you see Sao Tome and Principe being a good fit for, and who might be better off focusing on more established Caribbean or European options?
Yeah, so I think the program can suit investors who are comfortable engaging in an emerging market environment, and those who seek strategic value in getting African citizenship and the CPLP connections as part of a wider plan. And those who prefer a long track record or whose priorities are mainly focused on the Americas or Europe may still be better served by established Caribbean programs or an EU route to citizenship.
Right, so this isn't a one-size-fits-all program.
Yeah.
It's potentially very interesting for frontier-minded and CPLP-interested clients, but others will still gravitate towards the classic Caribbean or EU paths we've covered in earlier videos. If Sao Tome and Principe is now on your radar and you'd like to understand how it compares to Caribbean or European options for your situation, the best step is a tailored conversation rather than a brochure comparison. Jennifer can walk through the details, CPLP implications, documentation, payment stages, and whether this program actually fits your objectives. All of the contact information is in the description as always, and if you'd like to stay ahead of new developments like this, you can subscribe to Jennifer's Passport to Possibility newsletter through the JH Marlin website and watch videos on the Caribbean citizenship by investment and on EU citizenship by descent for broader context. Thanks for joining us as always on Passport to Possibility.
Thank you so much, Kevin.
Thanks, Jennifer.
All the best.